Hey, it's Nancy with You Can Do Nails. Welcome back to my channel. How are you? Today I am super excited to show you how I use foil dip powders. I'm going to be using this gorgeous foil dip powder from ConfiDips called Daydreamer. I'll be dipping over these builder gel extensions, which you can see are at least 4 weeks grown out, starting to lose the structure a little bit. So I'll dip over these maybe a couple more times. And then these are gel top coated and I've applied peel base. And on my other hand, I am wearing Tahitian Opal by Sparkle & Co. And I stock all of these products in my shop, the You Can Do Nails boutique, if you are interested in any of them. Now I want to get into a couple different kinds of dips with foils. There are foil dip powders that are just straight foil, a little harder to work with. And then there are ones like this one that have dip powder, in this case like a milky white, and foils. So like I said, I use the peel base. To pop these off easier, I use the Sandara nails. I do 3 full coats. And then I'm also using the Virgo and Gem dip base coat. And I went ahead and did 1 layer of the base coat over the peel base so that the peel base wouldn't dry out my first layer of base coat too quickly. And I want to get into what makes a good quality foil dip powder. For one, in my opinion, a good foil dip powder has lots and lots of foils, like this one. ConfiDips really does not skimp on their foils, which is amazing. So I like to see a lot of foils so that you're not having to fish around and you can get really good coverage. And then also, they're not all created equally as far as bleeding. So you want to get a good quality foil that isn't going to bleed the colors all over the place when you hit it with the base. Then on this first layer, I generally like to pour over. So I want to try to get as much of the dip powder itself to form that first layer. So here we go. So I've already got the apex and everything, kind of built up with the builder gel extensions. So this first layer, I'm going to go for 1 thin full layer and pour over. And even for a white, this went on really, really nicely. And so you'll see on that first layer, I'm hoping to get as much of the powder. Oops, missed a spot. That's okay, I'll cover it with foil if needed. But I want to try to get as much as the powder on there. And then I'm gonna just gently kind of take off any stragglers with foil. And just like I do with chunky glitter, I'll take a bag and gently pat down the foil. I want to try to keep the foil in bigger pieces if possible. This dip is truly, truly stunning. So I'm just patting it down again. So I'm going to take you through, you know, almost all 5 fingers. And I just take my cuticle stick or precision tool and clean up the cuticle line a little bit. And the Virgo and Gem base is a good go-to. It's a medium dry. It doesn't dry too fast. It still gives you a little bit of time to work, which is always nice. And I will be embedding this YouTube video along with written instructions as a blog post. So if you go to youcandonails.com, that's where that blog post will be. And if you're interested in any of these products, those are in our boutique store, youcandonailsboutique.com. And we do have a Facebook group, both for the blog and for the shop. So I'd love to have you join the Facebook group if you haven't already. And I'm using kind of a bigger brush. I got this one as PR from Double Dip, to gently just kind of brush off some of the excess foil and powder. And this will be just my first initial go around. And then I'll come in with a stiff nail brush. This will really help just get off all of the foil so I don't contaminate the brush. And now going into my second dip, which is what I'll do. I usually go for 2 colored dips, especially when dipping over these extensions so that they don't get thick. And I have poured the foil, the dip powder, into a cupcake liner, and I kind of shook just a little to get some foils to come to the top, like the same way you would do with glitter, but this one didn't need much shaking because it's just chock full. And then I gently lay my finger into the dip to get a good distribution of foils. And then sometimes I'll just pour over a little bit on the powder just to make sure it got into all of the nooks and crannies. And it's hard to kind of see where your cuticle line is, so I'm sort of just feeling it out, but I go in with the cuticle stick. And then come back in with the bag and press down, which is a little bit more important on this second layer. I'm just trying to get as much of the foil to adhere to the base. So I just love the look of big, pretty foils. And I found these foils to be the perfect size. They were big, they were beautiful, but they weren't difficult to work with. And if you're ever working with a foil dip powder that is kind of sparse on the foils, and you're having trouble getting coverage like you like, you can always take a slower drying base, you know, like this one or the Risen Legacy base, and just put a small dab on your nail where you'd like the foil to be. And you can pick up the foil with either tweezers or a cuticle stick dabbed with base, and you can hand place those foils just like you do with glitter. But if you're working with a really fancy foil like this one, there's no placing needed. But it's already looking so cute. And you can see this is why I need a little bit of a slower drying base, because of how slow I work. Even after doing this for a while, I'm still, you know, fairly slow trying to get a good, even application of the base. And now I didn't have any trouble really with this foil dip, you know, with the foils bleeding. But if you did, you know, use a dip that had foils that had, you know, the tendency to bleed, I would have the dip brush saver handy, and that way if the foils bleed all over your base brush, you can stick it in the brush saver to try to get that pigment off. And then I'll also make sure that I have clean paper towels. So if you get, you know, your brush all gunked up with the bleeding foils, you can wipe it off on that paper towel, get off, you know, all the big pieces, and then get it in the brush saver if you need. But you see, these are beautiful. And another tip for not making your foils bleed is to work quickly and kind of float the brush over the foils. So the less contact the base has with the foils, the better. But like I said, these foils were so great to work with. I could work at my speed and not have them bleed everywhere. And if you have foils hanging off the edge, you can take the edge of your cuticle stick and kind of run it along it so the foils come off. They're already looking so cute. I love this dip powder for spraying. And the other thing I really love about foil dips is you can just get such a cute look with one dip. It's only one dip powder, but it doesn't look understated at all. So now I'm coming back in again with my stiff nail brush, and to encapsulate in my favorite clear, the Pure Diamond Clear by Risen Legacy. I stock this in the shop as well. I've tried several different clears. This one always seems to be just so crystal clear. It's also very finely milled, so it's very easy to get the specks of clear off, which is great. And I try to go thin on this too, but I always encapsulate my foils in clear, and that also helps protect from fading. If you don't encapsulate in clear, when you hit it with the activator, that could fade your foils. And then now I'm scrubbing off the excess specks to make sure everything is just really, really clear. So I do that with a stiff nail brush over the dust collector. And now I'm going in with activator. This is the Sparkle & Co. Solidify. This is just what I had open on my desk. Didn't feel like opening another bottle, but if I was doing dip top coat, I generally try to use the same brand's activator and top coat so that they work better. So those are activated and dried, filed and buffed. Now I'm going in with my Sparkle & Co. gel base because I am still on that top coat train, gel top coat. So the gel base has kept my gel top coat from peeling or chipping. And with the gel base, I go for a very, very thin application, just enough product to get it all over the nail. And I'm kind of pushing it into the nail. And then I'm gonna go cure this for about 60 seconds in my Chiara Sky lamp. So next up is my gel top coat. And with my gel top coat, I'm actually gonna start on my index finger. And that's so by the time I get to my pinky, if I had it on my thumb or started on my thumb first, it might kind of drip on the side. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you guys so much for watching.